Hello again, everyone. This video is not gonna be like other videos. It's gonna be a little different because it's not really for YouTube, it's for school. But it's also gonna go up on YouTube because I like posting things to YouTube and having the same like 40 people watch it who would watch my stuff anyway. So for a little bit of background, for a little bit of reasoning as to why I'm filming this. As you all know, I can't go to school right now because pandemic and people aren't wearing masks and people aren't washing hands and people are sick. And because I have a history of an autoimmune disease, if I were to get sick, I could get really sick really fast. And I kind of don't want to be hospitalized, and I kind of don't want to have to deal with my autoimmune disease again because I already went through that and I'm not doing it again. But although I had to push off my college plans, although I couldn't go to the honors college like I was planning to, although I couldn't, move out and like do all those crazy young adult hijinks that I was planning on getting up to, something kind of better happened. Right now, I'm a part of a gap year program that is being offered by the college that I was going to attend and have actually been enrolled at since I was 15. When I was 15, I was like given this opportunity to essentially start working on my freshman year of college while I was still in high school. So I've been a college student for the past 3 years now, and I don't have, considering that I've only taken like one class on the college campus, I've got a lot of credits done, but yeah, basically, there was a gap year program that I was allowed to be a part of where I get to explore my interests and figure out what I'm going to do in college and get to work on my own personal development, and I get to work on a portfolio of my art, and I get to like write papers about medicine, and I get to do all of these things to try and figure myself out a little bit. And that's been something that's been really good for me. I've needed the structure, I've needed to like be able to throw myself into a project, I've needed the work, because if any of you know me in real life, I am a really big overachiever and a really big workaholic, and I know that that's not necessarily healthy, but it's here. It's part of who I am right now, so I kind of need to learn how to cope with it in a little bit of a healthy way. So I'm in my approximately third week of doing this gap year program. I'll be doing it for like a full 2 semesters, a fall semester and a spring semester. And right now I'm working on kind of an open-ended vlog type of video to document my progress. I've done like actual typed written pieces for my last 2 things, and one of them was like a letter to myself and like what I want to get out of this, and the other one was where I've been encountering resistance and what my hardest things have been to deal with this. And it's been really easy and also really hard. It kind of depends on the day. And for this week, for my video, I kind of wanted to sit here and I wanted to analyze a topic that keeps coming up anytime I write about what I want to do with my life and what I want to do with my future. And that topic is fear. For those of you who don't know, I really, really, really want to become a musician. I want to be a music producer and a performer, like singer-songwriter. I want to be dancing and singing on stage. I don't care where in the world, I just want to be doing it. I really want to do that. And it's something very personal to me. Not just personal, but it feels like it's a very innate part of who I am. It's a dream that I've been dreaming for so long that it doesn't even feel like it's a dream, it feels more like a promise. And that's what scares me, because I know it's a very competitive field, and I know that I have to work and I have to continue to improve myself, and I am working very hard as it is. I'm working within the limits that I have set upon myself in where I'm at personally and with, my physical situation of not being able to leave my house. But it's been very scary thinking about what the future is. It's been scary because I can't imagine myself doing anything other than music for the rest of my life and being really happy. I can't. And the only other option that would come even close, but not even close enough, but the thing that would come closer, like here's music production all the way up here, here's this thing, so like there's definitely a gap. It's just not, I don't know, it's just hard. The only other thing that I could do other than music is neurology, being a neurologist, being a doctor of some kind, medical field profession, but there is a problem with that, and the problem is because of my autoimmune disease and because it's still relatively new and not really understood, and I know that I already get sick like really easily. I don't know if I can be a doctor, because if I'm treating patients with illnesses, and if I'm treating patients with these viruses and diseases that I would be exposing myself to, even with proper PPE, even with everything, knowing how sensitive my body already is, I don't know. No one really knows. And that's the problem, is that no one really knows, so I don't really know what to follow. I think I've been so scared because there is that uncertainty, you know. It's such, when talking about the future, you're not just talking about what tomorrow is going to be, you're talking about the uncertainty of the rest of your life, and that in and of itself is terrifying. But I think it's even scarier when right now with this pandemic the world is trying so hard to move forward, and it shouldn't be. Because people are going out there and they're living their lives like they would be if there was no pandemic, but I can't do that at all. I have to stay here, and I have to be safe, and I have to wait. I have to wait until most of the population is vaccinated, because due to my autoimmune disease, I can't get vaccines at all. Haven't had vaccines since I was really little, since before I was hospitalized. And until the majority of people have lived through it, are not contagious, or are vaccinated, I can't risk it. I don't know how it would affect me. I don't want to find out. Because at the very best, what would happen is I get sick and I get over it and I'm 100% fine. At worst, I die. And I would rather err on the side of caution and then look back and laugh at how, like, oh, I remember how I stayed home for so long because I was anxious. I would rather have it be a story to tell than for it to be a mistake that hurts me or hurts my family. I've just been thinking a lot. These like, I don't know, these reflections are meant to make me think about what I want to do. It's meant to have me analyze myself. It's supposed to make me think about myself. And right now, what I wanted to talk about was that fear. That fear of not knowing about the future. That fear of not knowing what life has in store. That fear of, if I do pursue music and the arts like I want to, I know that it's not sustainable as a career. Like, everyone goes through that starving artist time in their career, right? And that's just something I have to anticipate. And I know that, and I'm very well aware of that. And I know that medicine, even though it would take so much time and money to go to med school, being a doctor of any kind will generally pay a little bit more than being a producer, unless I'm incredibly rich and famous, which, you know, that would be nice, I guess, but I don't want to do it for fame. I don't want to do it to be famous. I want to do it because I love it. I just know that the way to make it a sustainable career is to be famous. I don't want to be famous because I want people to know my name. I want to be famous so that I can do what I love and also have money. I don't want copious amounts of excess wealth. I think the existence of billionaires is unethical, okay? This is a hot take for today. I will fight Jeff Bezos in every dark alley that I can find him in. Like, do not test me on this. I don't want to need to be cutthroat, and I don't want to need to be wealthy, and I don't want to need to, like, accumulate this massive following just to live the way I want to. I think that's ridiculous, and I think that those standards are something that, even if I do pursue music, I think I'm always going to be a little bit morally conflicted with that. or just personally conflicted, or just personally disgruntled. Even if I do become famous, I think that I'm always going to have my qualms with it. I'm always gonna be a little bit just like weirded out. Because celebrities are just people. They shouldn't be idolized in the way that they are. They're people who are capable of making mistakes. They're not your friends, they're not your family, they're not these people that you're actually close in relation to. And I know that is so hypocritical of me for saying, because like I idolize specific celebrities, and I get that that's, you know, really really weird to hear me say. But definitely through this self-reflection and through thinking about why I would want to be famous, why I would want to be commercially successful, it's made me think about my point of view on life. It's made me think about my point of view for what it means to be successful as a musician, what it means to be successful as a person overall. And I think for me right now, success would just be me being brave enough to sit down and figure out how to work my DAW, my digital audio workshop. Success for me right now would be to record a cover and then record another and then record another, and not just record them but actually post them. Being successful for me right now would mean all of the dances and all the choreographies I've learned not being so insecure with how I look to just record them and put them online, even if they're bad. I mean, people embarrass themselves on the internet all the time, right? Like, all the time. That's not anything new. And honestly, kind of feels like the internet was made to embarrass yourself. But I'm 18. I'm barely an adult. And honestly, I don't really think of myself as an adult. I think of myself as an 18-year-old who doesn't really know what's going on yet. I gain a little bit more experience every day. Just a little bit. Not enough to make these life-changing, earth-shattering discoveries. Not enough to change the world, but it changes my world. Just a little bit. And then suddenly I wake up and I'm in a completely different place than I was a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. I just think that my biggest resistance and my biggest thing holding me back, and the thing that would make me successful through this gap year, is to not be afraid. As an artist, as a person, specifically, like, a lot as an artist. That's mainly the thing, is that a lot of this will be revolving around art and, like, doing these dance covers I want to do, and doing these vocal covers, and writing my own songs, and putting them out there for people to see, because even if it's one person, or 5 people, or 5 million, that's more people that would have heard it than I ever expected to. I've got these songs that live up in my head, and sometimes it seems like I'm the only one who's gonna ever hear them. And I don't want that. Like, I don't think that music should be enjoyed as a solitary thing, you know? Yeah, I think that things are going well with this gap year from a logistical standpoint. I'm turning in my homework. I'm doing my reflections. As you can see right here, because it's a video. I'm talking with people. I'm gaining new insights. I'm doing all the things that the syllabus said I should and said I would. But the problem is that in real life, in my life, in my internal monologue, in my thoughts, in my emotions, I now realize that the confidence that I had, although some of it is genuine, there are parts of it that were so deeply rooted in insecurity, and so deeply rooted in me pretending like I wasn't insecure ever, that to be happy and to pursue this and to do what I want to in life, I need to change. And not change as in like, oh, I'm a bad person, I need to change. Like, I need to take care of myself more. I need to be nicer to myself. I need to not be as hard on myself. I need to work consistently and not expect perfection in the first 1, 5, 10 times I do something. Because I realize that is a completely unsustainable mindset. Not only is it unsustainable, it's frankly unreasonable. Can you imagine going up to a person and saying, hey, if you don't nail this 100% the first time you do it, you're fired? I mean, hang on. I'm trying to think of jobs where that would genuinely be applicable. And, you know, maybe there are times like that. But the jobs I want to go into are generally ones that you get to practice and you get to try again. I mean, the only thing is like malpractice lawsuits are definitely a thing. So as long as you're not operating on someone, then make a couple mistakes. I'm mainly talking in reference to like artistic endeavors. Have you ever seen someone in a dance rehearsal at a theater dancing and then the director looks at them and goes, okay, here, I just taught you this insanely complex move, and if you can't do it right now in the first time you've ever done it, you're out of the show? I've never heard that. I've never heard that, and there have been times where I've been a very bad dancer on stage and a very bad dancer in rehearsal, and they said, hey, work on it till you get it. I just think I need to allow myself some time to work on it until I get it. Whether that means working on myself, working on my actual technical abilities, but most of all, I think it means working on eliminating this fear that I have of not being the best immediately. Because it's a very bad fear to have. And it's one that, upon insightful looking into myself, I've realized has held me back a lot. So, thank you if you stuck around through the video this long. Kind of just rambled for a little bit. Hope that you liked it. I mean, this is what I always wanted my YouTube to be, right? Me sitting on the floor in pajamas talking about things, like back to that early 2000s YouTube aesthetic where everyone just sat on their bedroom floors and talked about nothing for 20 minutes. The peak of YouTube. Well, thank you if you did listen, and if you're one of my professors or counselors or academic advisors and you have to listen to it because you have to make sure I'm progressing, then also thank you, because you just had to sit and listen to me ramble and think about whether or not it was profound or if it showed growth or insight or whatever. So thank you, sincerely.